So I did the math, and at $8, I'm making about $3 a dozen in pure profit,
Nice.
even paying some labor. Well, done, right? Chickens out, ducks in. Hey, move them out, move them out, move them out, easy. Here, boy. Here. Come here. All right, good boy. You're done. This is our laying flock here. They're going to be on this paddock for today. We're letting get them out because they're kind of noisy. Hey, ducks. You ready?
Jack Spirko, 9 Mile Farm.
Come on, Duckus Exodus. Let's go.
Man, Jack, they're about as happy as you, buddy.
Yeah, they're pretty happy. They're actually a little bit angry. They're just one of the flying birds. They're actually a little bit irritated today because ducks are very big on routine. They want to be let out the same time every day. They want to be fed the same time every day. They want to see the same people every day. They're kind of like Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World, right?
Yep.
We fear change, right? So they don't really like change. And the big reason we do what we just did, every night the ducks come home. And we don't really have to make them come home. They're sort of kind of like chickens in that they'll kind of gravitate back here. Every once in a while, maybe the gate will get blown shut and they can't get in. Then they're all mad and angry. Even if we want them to go to bed a little bit early, I'll just go, all ducks, go to bed. They line up and they go straight in.
What?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, from anywhere on the property, I can lean out the door when they're back here, out the back door, and yell that to them like 30 minutes early, and they'll all go to bed. That way we can shut things down.
How did you train them to do that?
Well, you make them want to go where they want to go, right? So your first group is the part you have to actually train. Once you have a core group of birds that already know the routine, when you bring new birds in, they just follow along. So your first group, what you do is you don't feed them all day long. You feed them in the evening when you bring them in. And you give them, a command. Go to bed, time for bed, whatever it is for you. We do all ducks go to bed because the kids like it. And but once they hear that command, they become conditioned that means to go home. And ducks are very much followers. Like you'll notice if we're walking around, if one of them decides they want to go somewhere, it'll get up and quack, and they kind of come to a consensus like, yeah, some of us will go. You almost never see one duck by itself. And so that one duck will head off to where it wants to go, and you'll see a perfect line of them going. They're nothing like chickens in their behavior or their intrinsic characteristics, and that's why we have them here. So, like, a lot of people will ask me, like, well, why do you ducks? Why are they better than chickens? I don't think ducks are better than chickens. I think ducks are better than chickens on my property for me and my needs. The chief reason is we're trying to establish trees all over this property. And we want to run our birds in a free range, rotational zone manner. Basically, we have enough ducks that we have about 750 pounds of duck. This is the best way to look at it instead of a number count, which is about 3/4 of a cattle unit. So we kind of manage them like a 3/4, like a Dexter cow. Now, they don't graze the way a cow does. So if you look, everything's pretty sparse right now because we're in our kind of our really kind of our low period. They'll eat all the dead seeds. They'll eat whatever they could find. They're very, very good foragers, but they don't scratch. They do occasionally dig a hole or two. When it gets muddy, they stick their beaks in it and they make a mud hole. That's a problem. But they don't scratch. So all of our berms, when we had chickens, the first thing a chicken would do when you let the chicken out was run to the berm and pull the end off of it and expose the roots of the tree and kill the tree. A lot of people said, we'll do, netting or things like that and maintain your chickens. Great idea. Where I'm standing right here is about that much soil and it's a solid limestone rock. When you look at how lush this has actually become, it's kind of crazy that it's even doable. This whole place was actually ocean bed. And you can see that here. There was a thing called the Great Inland Sea, and right now you'd be hundreds of feet underwater. But if you were here 50 million years ago, you can see it's all fossilized seashells and limestone. Wow. But you see here, see how that is right there? I was able to do it with my finger. As you get tree roots on this, you get humic acid. And when you get humic acid on a base rock like limestone, what you end up doing is you start to actually eat into it. So these trees, unlike your herbaceous species, can actually create fractures. And we've had trees we've had to take out, we've used excavators, and their roots are down into the rock and actually building soil down in the rock layers. And that'll work fine for our top layer of rock, which is about 2 feet, and it's all like that. And then the next layer, you dig into that, it looks like a sarcophagus. It's completely smooth and polished, it's dead hard, you can't get anything into it. So it's a challenging location, but the ducks have brought this fertility up for us. This is dead simple. Watch you don't step on any eggs. You see their water's pretty nasty right now because it's morning. So every day we come in here, we dump their water.
Okay.
And that's why they're on these concrete pads.
Yep.
I'll turn that over. And whoever's short is the day to fill them up. We'll move them. I won't move them now. That way, whoever comes in will know this is where they were last night. So it could be Dorothy. It could be my farmhand. I actually don't want to dump this one because there's eggs that went through the fence there. Yeah. But they'll dump them and they'll move them. There's 6 of these pads and they'll move every day. That way we don't over fertigate. And what we're doing is we're using this water, and we tried tons of ways of keeping it clean, and we just figured out they like it dirty.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
They just like it that way. So what we're doing is
they like it dirty.
We're bringing these. We have little micro swales, and then we have trees planted. And we're letting them grow their own shade and food. So this is a red mulberry.
So the waters rotate around on these concrete paddocks.
So they'll just move.
And they're strategically placed so that when you're dumping it, you're actually watering the tree. That is then they're going to come back and feed and shade the ducks.
Yeah, so this is mulberries. Ducks love mulberries.
So
this tree will get big. This tree's only 2 years old. It was a seedling when we put it in 2 years ago. I mean, in another couple of years, it'll be up and it'll be dropping berries. And that's
way to turn that problem into solution. They make dirty water, which happens to be full of nutrients.
And it looks bad, but it's not because, okay, so it'll all get dumped in the morning. Like when we ever get the eggs up, we'll get and dump these. There is no water here for them all day long. They're out there with their kiddie pools we'll go see next.
Okay.
It'll get filled up in the evening. They only have this water on average for about 8 to 10 hours, if that. And it's clean when that happens. So. Ducks clean their beaks. So that we use this feed, and it's primarily made up of peanut, so that we can get the protein content that we want without soy, because we do no soy, no GMO, no corn for our ducks. That's what our customers want. Well, if it's mostly peanuts, what is it really? It's peanut butter once it gets wet. So between this and then they're filter feeders, so anywhere that they find mud, they'll stick their beaks in the mud, and it looks like they're just doing this. What they're actually doing is they're pushing mud through their beaks this way. If you ever looked at a duck's bill, it's got those little serrations. They use that to find grubs or anything they can find and eat it. Well, they end up with their mouths full of mud, peanut butter, goo, whatever. We just decided this was simple. Pick it up, dump it, done.
They don't seem to mind it.
My farmhand, I have him come every other day, and he does pools on both sides for me, so I can flip them back and forth this time of year. And so they have nice clean water. That'll last about 15 minutes after they find it. And so they'll hang out over here now. The cool thing about that is they really will spend the majority of their day today in this little area. And if Cody moves their pools there tomorrow, they'll spend the majority of their day in that area, and then we'll move them on the front side of this swale, and we just keep moving them all around that paddock. So we want them to work the full paddock, but they're lazy. They really are. By moving their system of support for the day, we move their generalized activity. Another thing we're doing right now, we've been building this soil up as best we can over the years. I come out every morning, just go to a place I haven't been, I just throw ryegrass. And we'll get our winter rains and probably some snow melt and all, and it'll really take off. And by about March, we'll have ryegrass this tall everywhere. And what I'll do then is I'll come out in the mornings with sprouted sunflower seeds. I do it in a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll pick an area, like let's say from here to that pink pool and to that fire pit right there. and I'll just throw them out in there. They'll come in to eat those seeds because they won't eat that ryegrass when it gets big. But because of the way they're built, when they're done, it'll look like somebody took a roller for a golf course and rolled a tatami mat out of that grass. And then that ground is covered with a mulch with zero work, zero input. I got to feed them anyway. And then the next day we'll just move them somewhere else. And we'll end up doing that to like 80% of the property where the ryegrass will take off.
Wow.
Every year. And it, you know, how much, like the first year I did it, like 25% of the property actually even grew ryegrass.
Wow.
So we're up to about 80% will do it now. With these guys, I don't really mow grass much. Everybody and their mother within 10 miles of this place has laying chickens.
Okay. And
everybody wants to sell them. So it's a race to the bottom. They're $4 a dozen, they're $3 a dozen, they're $2 a dozen, they're $1 from you. I'll pay you to take them away. I mean, that's literally how it got to be. There's a local store about 5 miles from here that has local, you know, local chicken eggs for $2 a dozen, and they have a refrigerator this high full of them all the time. So we had like, I don't know, we had like 20 ducks because Dorothy wanted them. She thought they were cute. So they started laying eggs. I'm like, well, what do we do with these? We put them up for sale for $6. They sold. I'm like, well, heck with that. $7 they sold. $8 they sold. So I did the math, and at $8, I'm making about $3 a dozen in pure profit, even paying some labor. Well, done, right? Chickens out, ducks in, and we built it out. We have a customer base now. We have, you know, we have farm to fork stores, we have restaurants, but our most like loyal customers are people that are buying from us for health reasons. We have people that are going through cancer treatments, and I don't know where this came from, but duck eggs apparently are a big thing when you're trying to be healthy like that, and you know, do everything you can to get through that. We have people that cannot eat chicken eggs. We have people that can't hardly eat. We have one young man, he can hardly eat anything except our eggs. I believe a lot of the people that can't eat chicken eggs, it's not really a chicken duck thing, it's a soy thing. I believe there's a lot of people in America that have become hypersensitive to estrogens because there's so much of it in our food system, and a soy produces a phytoestrogen. So if you're feeding an animal that lays an egg, a phytoestrogen, and an egg is an oviary, whatever, right? Ovum, right? Your egg is your ovum. And where do you think those estrogens are going to get concentrated? They're going to get concentrated right in that egg. So I think that's a big part of like the sensitivity people have. But the people that buy our eggs, man, I mean, we pretty much stay sold out. Every once in a while we'll have a low period. We'll lose a restaurant, we'll have to find a new one or whatever. But our retail customers, you know, they come, and we don't do any, you know, we'll deliver to a restaurant that's taking 20 dozen if they're within a few miles. Otherwise, they got to come pick them up. Our retail customers, we don't deliver. We don't do farmers markets. You call us, you tell us how many eggs you want. We tell you to come get them. They come to the gate, they call Dorothy, she takes the eggs out to them, they give us the money, and they go away. So we do it as little, we make our customers do the delivery for themselves, basically. Yeah. And that makes the whole thing viable. This is not my full-time living. I do not have time to spend hours and hours and hours at a farmer's market every Saturday and Sunday. I just don't have time to do it. To try to win a customer over and over and over again. We do very effective marketing. We have a great website. We have a great YouTube channel. So when people are like, well, why are your eggs $8 a dozen? I'm like, go to duckchronicles.com and look how we take care of our ducks.
That's right.
Then ask the other person that's selling you $4 duck eggs that won't be able to give you duck eggs next week because they don't have enough production, how they take care of their ducks and what they feed their ducks.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it, you know.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, we also get the question, are you guys organic? We're like, no, we're not organic. That's beneath us. And I don't mean to put down anybody that is organic, but I mean, that's kind of the way I feel. Like, you could have this operation be organic, and all of those ducks could be living in a facility like that over there where they can't get out in a cage hanging off a wall, right? And then we'd have pristine eggs that we would never have to wash because they would come out like a quail egg does out of a quail cage. But you were feeding them organic feed. Like, so that's just like one step. We feed an all-natural, non-GMO feed. Like I said, made with mostly peanut meal. We're actually looking into another source right now. They'll cut our feed bill in half. Wow. And that would be, because that's our number one expense, obviously.
Yeah.
You know? And our feed bill varies because in, you know, another, like I said, another month and a half, they'll be green everywhere and they'll be happy. Even in the summer when it starts to go downhill from the heat, well, then we have like 2 months of grasshopper plague. Well, when ducks have grasshoppers, you don't have to feed them much. I mean, you know, but this time of year, we got to feed them a lot.
Jack, so if people want more of you, what should they do?
Go by my main website, which is thesurvivalpodcast.com. We do a daily audio podcast. We have about 150 to 170,000 listeners a day, depending on which day of the week it is. So a lot of people like it. Maybe you will too. And if you want to find more stuff like this, all of the posts have tags. So just look for permaculture, look for ducks, look for agriculture, look for aquaculture in the tag cloud. Pick that out, find episodes. Check out my YouTube channel. If you want to know all about the ducks, I have a playlist you can find at duckchronicles.com.
Okay, and I'll link that stuff down below.
Appreciate you,
Thank
Justin.
you, Jack.